Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV. And as you can see, we are joined after a long time in the flesh by Sue Bowler. Sue, hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank
Long time
you.
no see, apart from the training yesterday that we won't mention. But how are you?
I am really well, thank you. Really, very well.
What's been going on in your life? Obviously, it's been a while since we've done a face-to-face BMTV, and what's been going on in the last year, I guess?
Yeah, it's been a very interesting 18 months, I think, really. Obviously, I've stopped travelling, which is, in some respects, has been a really nice thing. It's given me the opportunity to readdress, work-life balance.
Yeah.
And I've very much enjoyed it. I'm spending more time working with John on BAPIA, which has been extremely good.
Just interrupt you there. Okay. For those of you out there that don't know what BAPIA is, do you want to give everybody a quick 30-second, 45 seconds, just a quick...
So BAPIA is the Balloon and Party Industry Alliance. It's an organisation that represents balloon and party professionals around the UK. As part of the membership, so you join as a member, we offer very competitive and comprehensive insurance, 10 million public employee liability, and lots of other benefits in that respect as well. 100,000 towards legal costs if you ever have problems with that. But there's a whole list.
Can I just say, we had the insurance through you. Our insurance has changed now, but we had our insurance through you, and then we got the company that you use. We got our business insurance through them as well, and it was actually much cheaper than what we had previously. And we ended up having to make a claim because we were broken into however many years ago, and that was, I'd never been through that process before, but it was pretty smooth. So I have to say it was good. Yeah,
I mean that's the other great benefit is not only do we offer that insurance through the membership, if people have shops and they want to insure other, like their equipment and things like that, then yes, they can do that. But they work directly with our brokers, and I think we have sort of like packages that they can easily sign up for. There are lots of different benefits with BAPIA. One of the ones that I feel is really important is terms and conditions. And as you know, terms and conditions are not a cheap thing to do and quite a comprehensive thing to do. So we got a legally, written terms and conditions, which is available freely to members. Throughout lockdown, we had some online training, and those videos are still available within, the membership area. We're always looking. We offer discounts through fantastic.
The Balloon Market.
Yes, exactly. So no, it's amazing. So you can recoup your membership very quickly through all the benefits.
I've always thought that because the insurance alone, if you were to go out, it costs more on its own. So
because most insurance companies don't understand the balloon industry, so they generally give a really high policy costing policy. So obviously, because we've been working with our insurance broker for so many years, I mean, we've been around for 11 years now. So, they know about our industry. So generally, they cover virtually everything. I mean, there's just a few things that they won't cover, things like bouncy castles and dance floors. So there's just a couple of things. But other than that, most other things are covered. It's a very comprehensive cover.
That was more than 20 seconds.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
That's all right. But if you are interested in becoming a member, you want to find out more, we'll put the link down below the video. Anyway, that was very nice. Thank you for that.
No, my pleasure.
So, what else? You've been busy with BAPIA. What else have you been doing? How's Milo?
Oh, Milo's good, yes. 9 years old now, so slowing down a little bit, but no, he's still a puppy at heart, which is wonderful.
Milo is the dog.
Yes, our wonderful dog. So what have I been doing? So we've just been refreshing and looking at the courses from Qualatex. So the course that I delivered this week with you guys was Simply Organics, which I have been teaching prior to the pandemic, but we did spend a little bit of time and we revisited it and updated some of the designs, and we created lots more beautiful portfolio photos. So yeah, it's that was really exciting.
They were very modern, the designs, obviously.
Yes.
You've updated it, yeah.
Yeah, very much.
I like the teepee thing. I think that was lovely. And you see more and more of those teepees around, don't you?
Teepees, the growth of the teepee market and the part that sort of teepee parties is really growing. So yeah, so we looked at decorating lots of different areas that are very popular, like moon gates and the teepee, and we did a lovely jungle theme as well. So yeah, so that's been really good. What else? Oh, I'm actually decorating an event next week.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So in fact, it's a.
When's the last time you did that?
Oh gosh, well, it was just before lockdown. Really.
Yeah.
It was the so yeah, this should have happened last year. This event. And but they waylaid it for a year, so that's a bit exciting and daunting at the same time because it's
because you don't do that every day. That's not your
really
day-to-day job now.
No,
so.
I really don't. So it's a really big event, central London, for a charity event. So
I think it's quite good. You know, you've been in the industry about 30 years, isn't it now?
Yeah.
So, but I think it's good for people to understand that even after all that, there's still a feeling of trepidation as you do something large like you're doing. And working with other people, you still feel a little, from what you were saying yesterday, you still feel a little bit like,
very much so. I mean, it's
going to be
you
interesting.
You lose that skill of the organisation, you know, all the planning. I mean, I've spent weeks, you know, making sure that I've got all the product that I need, which, as we all know, isn't that easy at the moment. So, you know, I've had to make some adjustments to my designs, but you know, it's great. I mean, I've worked it all out. I've got framework to make because I'm creating a design that I made originally for this event a few years ago, and they loved it so much. The first thing they said to me is, "We want those sculptured columns."
Yeah.
So, which is wonderful. I mean, I remember when I built those columns the first time. I mean, I've only actually ever built them for this particular event, and I had so many people coming up to me saying, "I've never seen anything like that. That is absolutely amazing, and it's not like balloons at all." So, you know, so I'm really excited that they want that. They want those and a balloon wall. They love a balloon wall, which again is great because, you know, we've got organic style work with classic style work, and you know, I love the fact that we can mix the two and it looks so crisp and professional. So no, I'm very excited. But yes,
all sounds very positive for you. It sounds
no,
great.
it's been a very exciting 18 months. I've done a few other little projects and done a little bit of freelancing for other companies. So
cool.
yeah, it's been great.
Excellent. Well, it's good to hear that. Now let's get on to the main attraction, which is you're going to show us something, aren't you?
I am. Something very simple.
Okay. What are you going to show us?
I'm going to make a very simple Christmas delivery design using the Qualatex Gnome foil balloon, which I absolutely adore. As soon as I saw it, I just thought, yeah, I've got to work with that balloon.
Did you see the gonks that Kerry did on BMTV the other week?
So cute.
Yeah,
really good.
I think so. Gnomes and gonks seem to be the theme this year.
Absolutely. I was walking down the high street the other day and I looked in a shop window and they had all these beautiful, in fact, very similar to Kerry's design. It was all in grey, you know, grey and silver. So as soon as I saw those, I thought of Kerry. I should actually buy one, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you should.
Sorry, Kerry. You know what your Christmas present's going to be now. But no, they are really. And, you know, even last Christmas, I remember looking at some of the celebrities and their decor and their houses. And there were a lot of the Scandinavian sort of gnomes there. So
very on trend.
Very, very on trend.
Okay,
so,
let's do it.
Yeah, okay. So we're going to start off by creating a base for this design. And for that, I'm going to use 11-inch gold chrome. And I'm going to inflate them on my premium twin air sizer. Just going to take those outlets off because I don't need those on here for this.
What are those ones for?
So these ones on the back here will allow me to inflate 5-inch balloons, and these ones are for 260s, and these are for anything bigger than that, so 9-inch and 11-inch. So I want to inflate my balloons to around about 8 inches. So I'm just going to set this sizer to 2 seconds, which is approximately 8 inches. I don't get too hung up on actual sizing, as long as the size of the balloon is in proportion to the design. That works for me. So I actually decided what I was going to inflate this to, and then I checked the size afterwards because I looked at it and thought, yeah, that's absolutely perfect. And then I thought, well, better just make sure, because not everybody has one of these machines, and it would
everybody should have one of those.
Everybody
machines.
should, and you know, I was talking to somebody on the course yesterday, and he said the best thing he ever bought was an automatic sizer.
I was talking to a lady on the course yesterday, and she said exactly the same.
Yeah, he said, I can't believe how much time we save. And he said, you know, it was worth its weight in gold, and he saved so much time now. So, I mean, I remember when I bought my first automatic sizer, which was many, many years ago, I just couldn't believe the difference in time. And that, you know, instantly I was able to do, you know, 4 times the amount of work.
Yeah.
So it literally paid for itself within a matter of weeks.
The lady I spoke to, she was saying, you always hear that it, you know, it's like another person. And she said, I didn't believe it. And then I got one. Yeah, it is. It really
it doesn't
is.
talk back either.
Yeah,
Or go off for breaks or anything else. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to use the chrome. I'm going to pop those onto the nozzles here. Just going to pull the balloon down, so the nozzles down into the balloon, so I get a nice round shape. And I'm just going to hit the foot pedal once. So when you make a cluster of 4, it's quite nice to have a nice round shape. So I'm just going to squeeze those down a little bit, so I've got a much rounder shape.
Do you not do that like Mark does?
No, don't
Mark
do
always
that.
does that.
No, but you know what happens is that you get covered in white powder if you do that.
Oh, okay. There we are.
And especially when you're wearing black.
Yeah.
When I tie a duplet, and I know anybody who's ever been on a course with me will know that I'm going to do this, I want my balloons to be tied as tightly as possible together. I don't want them to stretch out of shape at all. So I just take the balloon over, and it's this point that's really, really critical. I'm going to take the balloon over, I'm going to pull it as tight as I can at that point. I'm then going to wrap that round again, and that locks it, and then I'm going to knot it.
Yeah.
And that's the secret. What you find people do is they just take it over and then knot it, and there's so much stretch between those 2 balloons. So I'm just going to do that again to make my cluster of 4. So bring that right the way down. It's a good little trick because you just generally get a nice round balloon. You see, I pulled it down even further that time, so I really don't even need to squish them because they're already like that. And again, I'm just going to do that. Pull there, wrap round, and tie it off. And you'll see, you know, you literally cannot pull those apart.
I still look at chrome balloons sometimes and think, I can't believe they're balloons.
I know, they are absolutely
I remember when they first came out, and then when you double stuffed some, didn't you, with a clear at the Spring Fair, and it was like, wow, they're amazing.
That was really interesting that year that we did. We used all the jewel tones on top of the chrome, and we made a bouquet. The number of people who came up and said, are they really balloons?
Yeah, I know.
They just looked incredible. Okay, so I'm going to make my cluster of 4. So you push it together, wrap it round twice, and that will lock it. And you'll see that that's a really, really tight cluster of 4. Okay, so now I'm going to inflate some 7-inch chrome rather than 11-inch. So I'm going to change the nozzles down to the 5-inch ones because it's much easier to put those on top. And I'm going to change my setting quite drastically. I'm going to have no seconds, and I'm just going to go to 0.3.
Okay.
Okay. And then I really just want these to be nice and small. This is really important because I'm underinflating this balloon quite a lot. I really need to inflate the balloon from the top downwards rather than the bottom upwards.
Yeah.
Because what I don't want is that little bit of uninflated balloon on the top because that's dull and it just doesn't look right. So really get your nozzles inside your balloon. So it's a little bit trickier to do, but it is definitely worth it. And if you were using a hand pump, you do exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
So you can see, look, really tight. And we're just going to twist those round. So you've got that lovely little balloon. This is around 3.5 inches.
Okay.
And I'm going to tie that really tightly as well. Okay, so I've got 2 of those. I've already inflated one. I'm just going to twist those 2 together. And I'm just going to position that and add it onto my base cluster. So you could use a Dacron line to connect this together, but because it's going to be quite a small cluster, I'm just going to use the necks of the balloon because that will keep it really tight as well. So I'm just going to grab hold of this neck here, and I'm just going to pull that through to the middle. I'm going to pull that really tight and just going to do a figure of 8 around those balloons and wrap it in. And you can see you've got that really nice cluster like that.
I think it's good to do this because it's a reminder. I think you've probably done this on the show before, but it's good to have a reminder because everybody does things slightly differently. And just the way you said, make sure you do it twice there. And everybody does it differently. Why do you say twice rather than just once when you're
Because
twisting it?
I find that when you twist it twice, it really tightens up that central cluster, and it just locks the balloons into that position. You know, what happens often, let me just grab this cluster here, is that if you start shaking them around, you lose its form. So by having it twisted really tight, you know, you've really got to shake it hard for that to happen. So, you know, it just gives it more stability, and it's just so much easier to work with. Okay, so what I've done is I've produced a second cluster, exactly the same as the first one, same size, and I'm just going to create sort of a box shape, which is why that cluster is so small, because we don't really want that to stand out. We just want it to sit snugly in the middle. So you see, if I put that on top, like so, and pull it in, those sit on top. The two big clusters sit tightly together. So again, I'm going to take the neck of one of these balloons. I'm just going to flip this over. Just going to bring that through the centre, so it's sandwiching those balloons together, and I'm just going to wrap, I let go of that one, let's see if I've got it yet. Wrap that round, so it's really tight. So basically the neck from this cluster is now up here, and just tie that in so it's really nice and tight.
So obviously, if you were to just put this cluster on top of that one, they would be
they'd
90 degrees, wouldn't they?
They'd start sliding around.
But if you were to try and line them up, that's why they'd start sliding. So that's why you put the little cluster in the middle.
So you need that little cluster in the middle. And you can see you've got that really, so from whatever shape, you can do it like that. All right, so now I'm going to need a weight in there, just to give it, you know, stability at the base. My preferred weight is a sand-filled weight, but unfortunately I ran out of sand. So I have actually made a water weight.
Ooh, okay.
So, you know, you've got to be a little bit careful with water weights, because obviously if somebody cuts into it, it's going to make a bit of a mess. But equally, you have to be a little bit careful with sand, because obviously if that breaks, sand can cause a lot of damage, a lot more damage than water. But the nice thing about sand is that when you push on it, it'll sit flat rather than round. So
is that a double stuffed balloon?
This is a double stuffed balloon that I've used before, as you can see, and I've just attached a 260 to help me attach it into the design. So because these are the same both sides, it really doesn't matter which way I go. So I'm going to pull again right through the middle, make sure it gets through the middle of that cluster, push down really tight. Nice figure of 8. You know, this design potentially is going to be given to a child. And, you know, you want it to be strong and robust, and that it doesn't sort of get...
All those tips you've just given together just mean that it is going to feel, well, we've said it before, it's going to feel more quality because it feels heavier, but it is. I think robust is a good word for that.
Yes, and the fact that the balloons are so underinflated means that they're much stronger. You know, they're really, so they've got a lot of give in them. So, I mean, I did sort of contemplate, should I use the 7-inch and inflate them up to 7 inches? Because you can easily, chrome is such a soft balloon, you know, rather than using an 11-inch. But I thought, no, by inflating it fully, you've got more chance of it popping, you know, if somebody touches it. So I'd rather not. So I'm going to, you know, just do that. Okay, so I'm going to just put that to one side. We'll come back to that in a minute to finish it off. We're just going to grab hold of the foil balloon that we're going to use. So we've got our gonk balloon, or not gonk, our gnome. Gonks and gnomes, pretty similar.
I know, It looks like a gonk to me because you can't see his eyes.
You can't. You know, and the other nice thing about this balloon, I think, is that you could actually personalise it and put a name on there, which I think would be really super for a child. You know, Christmas morning, come down, got their name on it. This is basically going to look like a little Christmas present, so they could have all the presents around it as well. So I think that would be really cool. Personalisation
is the best thing in the world. It's a really easy sell as well, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, you don't need to convince me, I know.
Yeah,
So
love it.
It's huge. So I'm going to use the Premium Foil Pro to inflate this. This machine I absolutely love, because we're doing so much more air-filled balloons. And, you know, the trouble is that it's easy. There's two problems. We can either overinflate them or we can damage the valve. And this machine won't allow that to happen in either way. So it will automatically stop when the balloon is full, and it's, you know, it's at the perfect pressure. So I'm going to grab hold of, bear with me a second, this little hose, which gets affixed onto here. And then I'm going to select the foil adapter. So you can use this as a regular inflator for normal latex balloons, and you can use it with the hose as well. But if we want to inflate a foil balloon, we want to use this nozzle. It actually says for foil inflation, and the giveaway is these little grooves. So basically what happens is that it, I pulled that off in the process. It won't allow, it will push out all the extra air, and you can feel that when you're doing it. It's also got this nice sloped sort of outlet, so when you put your balloon on, you push it on, thank you. You just slide that into there so it doesn't cause any problem to the valve. It's quite a strong curly foot. And just make sure I use the right foot pedal. Let's try again. That's it. There's these little legs of just inflating. So yesterday I was showing this during my class, and somebody said, how does it stop? How does it stop? And I just said, look, you just keep watch. This won't stop until So all I can feel is air pushing back. So we just know that that's at the...
I loved it when this inflator came out, because obviously I was familiar with the helium cutoff valve. Which is a great investment if you're doing helium balloons. But this just does the same for air. It's perfect, isn't it?
And as I said, we're doing so many more foils, air-filled foils, that having something like that is really, really important.
Like you say, if you use one of the other nozzles, then you can just use it to inflate latex or whatever else.
So it's a very good investment. So what I want to do with the valve is I actually want to add a 260Q onto there so I can fix it into my base. I'm just going to use generally a scrap would be good, but I don't actually have any scraps on the table, so I'm going to use a gold one because I don't want it to stand out. So I'm just going to, I have tons of scraps in my workbox, but I didn't bring them over, so here we go. So I've stretched it, I've pulled it flat, I've knotted it so it's a nice flat edge on it, so it's almost like a ribbon. And then I'm just going to lie that at the base of my valve, of my tail, and just roll it up. And just keep rolling it, like so. Put my finger over that roll and pull on it and pull it tight and knot on it. So we've got that really securely attached. That can't come out anymore. And then I'm just going to grab my base and I'm just going to take my balloon and I'm just going to pull that right into the base so it sits nice and securely. I'm just going to wrap that round carefully. I don't want to over wrap it because I don't want to cause any damage to the balloons underneath. Oh, it's not in the right. Oh, there it is.
You might be causing damage to the camera up there.
Sorry.
It won't.
Balloons and cameras, huh?
Who'd ever put those two together?
I know. So there we go. He's going to have to sit there.
Cool.
All right. So I've got two things to do. So I'm going to do a little bit of decoration at the base here. So I'm going to take a gold 260Q. This is chrome gold 260, and I'm just going to use one of the 260Q nozzles, and I'm just going to inflate this balloon. Here we go. I didn't put that on. Try again. Now for this, I don't want a set size because I just want to inflate it. So I'm just going to take all the seconds and tenths of seconds off. So it's just going to be to 0. Now that's a manual inflator. So I've fully inflated my balloon. I'm just going to let a really good puff of air out of that because that makes it much easier for me to work with. If we try and work with a balloon that's fully inflated and tight, when we go to twist it or do anything with it, the chances are it will pop. We don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to take that. I'm just going to wrap that around the center of my design. Okay, so I'm just going to point it towards the camera so we can actually see what I'm doing. So let's pull that in. So I need to pull that right into the center. Let's move that in as well, making sure that it's there. Yep. And I'm just going to turn that round, and twist those together. Can you see that?
I can.
Okay, so I've just twisted those together. Simple as that. And then I'm going to make something called a pinch twist. So we've got a nice little twist in the middle.
Familiar with pinch twists?
I'm sure you are. So I'm just going to make a little bubble, and I'm going to make it in the longer of the two balloons because I've got more space to do that. So I'm just going to make a little bubble, like so. And then to pinch it now, so I need to take this twist and the twist from the other side. Pinch those together and twist. 1, 2, 3, and 4, like so. Okay, and I'm just going to remove the excess balloon carefully, and that one too.
I was amazed with 260s in chrome first time I touched one, and I'm not a twister, obviously, but when you start to twist, they are so soft. And the other thing is they're very quiet as well, aren't they?
Oh yeah, no squeaking.
Yeah,
absolutely no squeaking.
Brilliant.
So I'm just going to be a little bit cautious. I'm not going to fully remove the excess. I'm just going to tuck that behind. You won't see it anyway. So let me just turn that round. Actually, I completely got that in the wrong place, so I can move him around. Because that should be where he is, right at the very front. Okay, so that's that bit there. So I'm now going to, I am going to set this to 1 second. So that's a measured amount of air. And I'm just going to take a red 260 and I'm just going to inflate that. And then I'm just going to let a little puff of air out and knot those ends together. And I'm just going to find the center of that. And I'm just going to put a little twist in there. Like so. So they're not quite the same. I should try and make them pretty accurate.
You're doing a Dr. Bob thing now.
Am I?
He'll undo it for a millimetre and then do it back up.
Oh no, I'm not that bad, but literally it's just so it's the same. And then I'm just going to squeeze those together and create 2 loops. Now I'm going to use several of these. Now I could have just used one balloon and twisted them all together, because I want consistency and I'm using this machine. I'm being very wasteful. I'm going to actually do this 3 times because I need 6 loops.
Yeah.
But before I do this, I'm just going to give a little bit of shaping to this. I've actually got my other loops. Let's get those. They've blown down. I'm just going to do the same. So these are all the same size, she says. Well, they're slightly different. In theory, they're all the same size.
So they're effectively mini duplets, really.
Yeah, just little loop duplets, and pull those in together. Okay. Just going to remove a couple of these. Don't need all those. And I'm just going to do the same. I'm just going to try and get those nicely positioned. What I'm trying to do is make a little bow, really. Sort of something a little bit like that.
Very nice.
Yeah. And I'm just going to take that and I'm going to get the pinch twist, the little gold pinch twist, and pull it through the centre so it makes the centre point of that part of the design. So just going to do that. And then I just do a little bit of adjusting just to get these positioned. Now you don't obviously need to make this in chrome. You could make it in any of the colours, Christmas colours. I'm just using chrome today because I love it. But you know, if there's a cost issue and you know somebody wants the design but it's out of their budget because you've used chrome, simply changing the colours, you're going to create a different costing level of it.
Yeah.
Same design, just slightly cheaper.
And because this is air-filled, of course, if people were doing this in advance of Christmas deliveries or whatever, you can do them literally days in advance, can't you?
You can. The only thing I would say is that your 260s won't last as long as the rest of the design.
Yeah.
But you can easily resolve that by just using some high float in them.
Yeah.
The little tiny bottle, the smallest high float bottle.
Yeah. Looks very cute.
It looks cute, but it's actually amazing for high floating 260s because the nozzle on it fits perfectly inside.
Oh, does it? Okay.
So if you just take the nozzle, I don't have one here, sorry to show you, but if you take the nozzle and slide the 260 on about halfway, put the tiniest amount in, like sort of not even a penny amount, just tiny, take it off, but scrape off the excess as you go, and then pull the high float down in both directions, and then use that balloon. That's going to last you weeks and weeks and weeks.
Honestly, I wouldn't really have thought of putting high float in a 260 because they don't float, and that's what high float's supposed to be for, is to make your balloons float for longer. But it keeps them looking good because there's not a lot of air in a 260, is there? That's the thing.
No.
So I guess it just keeps the air in there for
It
the time
really
you
does.
need
I
it.
mean, the person that I first saw do it was Fiona Fisher, and she did it for a competition. She was making a blanket that went over an elephant sculpture she was making, and it was 1/60s that she did. She did a woven blanket, and she said that after the competition, she put the blanket was still in good condition, so she thought, right, I'll take that. She put it in her loft at home, and she said a year later, she took it out, and she said the balloons were still inflated.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So,
Good little tip
I think
there.
it's a bit of a labour of love to do 1/60s, but she
Yeah.
used to use like little medical pipettes
Yeah.
for that.
Yeah.
But as I said, the new high float bottle is that tiny little one.
Yeah.
Is perfect
Oh, cool.
for that, and it's great because that little bottle will sit in your toolbox.
Yeah.
And you can take it with you on little jobs. So if you need to use it for topping up balloons, or if you need to little tricks and stuff, it works really perfectly.
Another great soup bowler tip.
Well, it's only because I learn from other people as well.
As we all do.
We never ever stop learning. So there you go. Look, nice.
That's very nice. Yes, love it.
A little bit of a finishing touch on there. So we can take this one step further. Which is, you don't have to. You could sell it like this.
Yeah.
You don't need to add the flower. There's lots of things. This is an extremely adaptable design.
Yeah.
I was thinking if you were personalising it here, you could put little personalisation. You could put like ho-ho, and things like that, little stickers, vinyl stickers, actually on the latex as well, which would look really cool.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do one last little thing.
Okay.
I'm going to add in a foil little message balloon. So this is the Merry Christmas Gnome, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. It obviously complements it.
Absolutely.
Or again, rather than that, use a plain foil balloon and put an absolute personal message on it.
Yeah.
So, you could do something in that.
All sorts of options.
Absolutely. So we're going to use helium in this. Although this is all air-filled, we really do need helium in this one. So I'm going to inflate this balloon with my auto foil outlet with helium. Just lift the balloon up if it doesn't work immediately.
Put this to one side for a second.
Sorry,
So we can see what's going on.
Okay. Just pop that over there. So I'm going to use two things to secure this. I'm going to use a little bit of monofilament line, which you can't see, so it's an invisible connection. But I'm also going to use a little bit of satin ribbon, a little bit of red ribbon. So I'm just going to cut a piece of that as well. And I'm just going to take both together. So fine, this stuff. This is a 15-pound line, which is perfectly strong enough for this. So I'm just taking both together, and I'm going to do that roll-up technique here. Roll it up, tie that off. Make sure I've got the end of the mono line as well. Tie it nice and tight.
I'm very familiar with that. When we started the business, we were doing balloon in a box, and every single foil balloon, it was before bubbles, every single foil balloon we rolled it like that. But you can, it really identifies you as a professional if you do that.
Oh yeah.
Because how many balloons do you see coming out of shops that just got a bit of ribbon tied on and the neck hanging down?
And if a bit of wind catches that, it slides straight off. And what we don't want to do is have any balloons released.
Absolutely.
In any shape or form.
Yeah,
So it's a complete no-no for our industry. Okay, so what I am going to do, just a little tip, is I'm going to actually secure this monofilament a little bit more because it's rolled up, it could slide out, and we don't want that to happen. So I am going to put a secondary knot on top of that, and I'm going to use the untieable knot, which is where you wrap it round twice because that stops the monofilament line from slipping. Okay, so that's really good. Now I've done that, I've caught that in there. We don't want to do that. Now I can cut that short. But I wouldn't do that, cut that short until I've made that connection.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got that. I've also got a little weight, because I'm not going to put this into this design without a weight, because again, we don't want this to be able to release. And the chances are that someone's going to want to, take the balloon out and play with it. But what I will do for aesthetics is I'm going to connect this balloon to the hand.
Okay.
So I'm going to use a little bit of stretchy balloon tape. I haven't got the box, but I think we will magic it onto the screen. Yes. So we love stretchy balloon tape.
Do.
It's one of the best tapes in the industry with balloons for lots of different reasons. And it's a lifesaver often You know, you can fix, you know, say for example, there was a seam problem on a balloon, on a foil balloon, this would definitely fix it. I've been known to need it to seal 14-inch foils because I've forgotten my heat sealer. You know, you think, oh, the one thing I forgot, this will seal it. So, you know, you can see how strong it is. So I'm actually going to use this. I'm just going to take off one side of the tape, like so. And I'm just going to position that like that on the seam. I'm going to take my balloon and I'm just going to pull that underneath. And then, it'll slide back through, so it really doesn't matter. It's quite a flexible joint. Just going to squeeze that down, and then I'm just going to take the tape, the backing off the other side of the tape, like so. Now my balloons come out. Typical. We'll slide it back in again. These things like to happen, don't they?
You can demonstrate how to fix it.
Yeah.
No, it's too sticky.
You can't actually. I'm going to put it under in that angle.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's sticking like a rock today. Shows you how good it is. I'm just going to fudge it a little bit, just to make sure it's there.
All right.
And slide that. You will slide. Come on. Back in. So it's like he's holding it. That's what we're trying to achieve, really.
Oh, I see.
Everything's always 10 times harder when you're on camera. Things like to happen. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just cut this and connect it to my weight, because as I said, I wouldn't rely on that connection for obvious reasons, and I'm just going to make sure it's long enough to sit.
So that's just a backup, really?
Well, it's just to make sure we don't ever lose it, really. And again, I'm going to use that wonderful double wrap round.
Yeah.
Not just one more for luck. And we're just going to slide that and literally pop it in there. And
very cool.
Yeah. Let's have a quick look. See. Yeah. You can just see the little bit of tape there, unfortunately, but
it's fine.
It's fine.
I don't think anybody would see.
There you go. So it's a very, very easy. But
let's scooch him that way.
Okay, scoot him. I'm scooting
so he's in the
out.
middle.
I just didn't want you to block you out. There you go.
And there you go.
Simple.
Sue, thank you very much for that. That is a simple design.
Yeah.
But it's very effective as well. And like you say, you can add. You've got your, your silver, gold, platinum, whatever you want to call it. That's great. Now, as a guest, you may have forgotten, you, on BMTV, you have to ask the question of the week. So what question of the week are you going to ask everybody out there in BMTV land?
I had a thought about this because you always catch me out and I'm like, oh, what am I going to
well done.
So because it's a Christmas design, I want to know what everybody's favourite Christmas movie is. Mine is Love Actually. I have to watch Love Actually every Christmas.
Mine is Christmas with the Cranks.
There you go. So what is your favourite Christmas movie?
Leave your comments down below on Facebook and on YouTube. Well, Sue, thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And thank you, everybody out there, for, let me move him out of the way. Can I put him down here?
You can.
Nice as he is. There we are. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. If you've not subscribed, please do hit the subscribe button and the little bell icon, and that way you'll be notified every time we upload a new show. Stay safe, stay happy. See you next time. Bye.